This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is November 17th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, I think we said 2-2. You'd be happy with that this week. The Magic go 3-1. How are we doing, my friend?
I earlier in the season, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about hitting the panic button. I'm hitting a different button today. I'm smashing the button that says we're back. I think Magic basketball is back. That's how I'm feeling. That's what the eye test is telling me. Even though you had a heartbreaker Sunday night, which obviously we're going to talk about on this show, Magic basketball feels back to me, and I'm very glad about that.
I would completely agree if this team was healthy and whole. Like if Jalen Suggs doesn't miss tonight, if Paolo Banchero, was healthy right now, I would 100% be on board. Even with the result of tonight, you have that game fully healthy, and I'm on board. But my thing is okay, the Paolo Banchero thing, it sounds like it's not going to be that long. I mean, we'll go through and read the official update from Shams that we got since the last episode. It seems like it's not a big deal, but I just needed to see him back before I'm awesome. We're here. We're back. Everything's fantastic. Everything's great. Mo Wagner, I still think when we get him back, it's going to be a huge boost for this team. I think people are underrating how big of a hole the backup center position is on this team. But no, the Magic, the style of Magic basketball is 100% back. Yes.
The identity, that's what I'm referring to.
We
have an identity
is back.
Again. That's
Completely agree with you.
Yep.
But I would just feel so much better about everything if we were healthy, because you would just feel like you have a more of a chance to win these games. But tonight kind of showed you that really doesn't matter. You're going to have a chance to win every single game if you play to the Magic standard, which we will talk about. But first, we're going to talk about some lovely folks that this episode was made possible by: Armin, Daniel Flores, Gabe Gaines, Luis Rosario, Santi Leon. These are some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons. They went to patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show, and they joined at the Hall of Fame or elite tier levels. We give our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons a special shout out each and every episode. We also give a special shout out to brand new patrons whenever we have them. So if you want a special shout out just like that, again, patreon.com/the Sixth Man Show. Join whatever tier works best for you. Kevin, busy week this week for the Magic. Obviously, 4 games coming up. Next game on Tuesday when they play the Golden State Warriors at home. Our guy Christian will be outside of Kia Center following the game, filming the next episode of the Sixth Fan Show. So if you're at the game, be sure to stop by Christian. You'll see him with the lights and the camera. I don't know how much action there will be. Hopefully a lot of celebrating. But you can't miss him if you're walking out of Kia via Church Street. You'll see him out there. And then Sunday, when the Magic take on the Celtics in Boston, that is going to be our next watch party. And that's going to be at Boxy Park in Lake Nona. So Lake Nona Town Center, 6877 Tavistock Lakes Boulevard in Orlando. Really awesome spot. I have not been there, but Kevin, you have been there. So let listeners know what they can expect if they're going to show up to this watch party on Sunday.
Yeah, it's Boxy Park. Gets the name because it's a bunch of boxes. It's a bunch of shipping containers. No, it's pretty cool. It's a really cool vibe. I mean, if you ever been to Lake Nona, that whole town center area and all the stuff, it's beautiful. Lake Nona is great. It's a vibe. And so this is our first watch party there. And so that'll be a fun experience, I think. But yeah, you should absolutely come out. Yeah, it's a big game, obviously. It's the New York Knicks, so that's always a big deal.
This is the Celtics, actually.
The Celtics. You're right. The next watch party is the Knicks. My bad. Oh, that's a little spoiler alert. But this one is the Celtics. Yes, next Sunday.
Subject to change, by the way.
Always subject to change.
Always subject to change.
But you're right. My apologies. Next Sunday against the Celtics should be a good time.
And as of now, the forecast looks beautiful for next Sunday. So be sure to come on out. That's going to be a great time.
Also subject to change, by the way, as it always is.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Very true. Early tip-off. It's a 6 o'clock tip on Sunday, so the watch party will get going around 5:30. So be sure to make it out to that one. And there's also a little bit of an update, I guess, on the front of the whole gambling scandal that's kind of been going on in the NBA. I guess the FBI is asking for players' phones and things like that. The last update that we got a few weeks ago it sounded like a Magic player at one point in time. I think it was the 2021-2022 season or the 2022-2023.
Yeah, that
one of the last games of the year. They basically like gave information that the Magic were essentially tanking or going to be sitting a bunch of people. Now that doesn't implicate them in anything bad. There's nothing wrong with sharing information. Obviously, it just kind of depends on what the intent of that is. And basically, we've gotten the update that that player is believed to no longer be on the team. FBI is doing a very thorough investigation, but nobody really outside of the investigation knows exactly which players are named. But it sounds like we can all not really care about this because it's not going to affect the Magic moving forward. And again, we don't even know if they did anything nefarious. They did share information, but we don't know what the intent is. So just wanted to kind of update everybody on that front.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is becoming a little more mainstream this week. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, Jason Beatty reported this, several weeks ago that the player that potentially was involved in this is no longer on the team and all that stuff. But yeah, for two reasons that Magic fans shouldn't worry. Number one, because it doesn't look like there was anything suspicious necessarily. Number two, even if it was, that person is not on the team. So that person is not in danger of getting suspended or, banned from the league or whatever. And if they are, it doesn't impact the Magic. So either way, we're good.
From what we've heard, the team's not concerned about it at all.
Not at all.
So yeah, it's really like a non-story, but it was news. So wanted to go ahead and bring that up. All right, let's go to the weekly state of the Magic and check in on the boys in blue. This week, the Magic went 3-1 with wins over the Blazers, Knicks, Nets, and then a loss to the Rockets. At the time of this recording, now sitting at 7-7, the Magic are 10th in the East, 4.5 games back of Detroit, 2.5 games back of New York and Cleveland, a game and a half back of Toronto and Atlanta, a game back of Philadelphia and Milwaukee, and a half game back of Chicago and Miami. There are still results all around the league that are not final as of right now. So again, subject to change. Maybe that's going to be the title of this episode. The Magic, again, at the time of this recording, NBA.com has not updated the advanced metrics with tonight's result. But going into Sunday, they were 18th in offensive rating with an offensive rating of 114.7, 11th in defensive rating with a defensive rating of 114.1, and 16th in net rating with a net rating of 1.7, 19th in pace now. So the pace for the Magic is literally in free fall. We were as high as 6 a couple of weeks ago. And as we talked about on the show, the pace didn't really seem to be making much of a difference. And in fact, it was making a difference, just a negative one. Yeah. And since the Magic have reverted a little bit back to their pace from previous years, offense and the defense are both getting better. So we'll keep an eye on that. While we record, I am going to continue to update or refresh the page that has all these numbers. So if I just like jump in the middle of something and say, hey, I've got an update for us, it's because NBA.com, which quick gripe here. One, ESPN, screw you for updating the box score because it's completely terrible now. And also the NBA, like, why does it take so long to update this stuff after games? There's no way that somebody has an abacus manually counting all of this stuff to try to figure out what the defensive and offensive ratings are after these games. It should take approximately 15 to 20 minutes at the most, and that's being generous. Update the freaking stuff so we can record at a decent hour. I would just really appreciate that. We're not recording at a decent hour right now, and we still don't have the information. Be one thing if like you wait and then you get it, it's up, isn't it?
No, I was going to say Jonathan Osborne for NBA commissioner. You have my vote.
There we go. Perfect. Okay. Anyways, taking a look at the injury report, Mo Wagner is still out. We did get kind of not really an update, just like hey, just to let you know, this is kind of still what it is. Mo Wagner isn't really doing any contact work just yet, so he's still likely several weeks away from coming back. Paolo Banchero has missed the last 2.5 games with a groin strain, and Jalen Suggs missed Sunday night with a sore groin. Last year, it was the season of the obliques, and so far this season, it's the season of the groins, which that's quite a statement right there.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I almost threw my phone. Like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah.
Like literally, it would have been unfortunate not to have him, but it just insult to injury with the fact that it's also a groin.
Right.
Before this, like not counting Gary Harris, because Gary Harris at one point or another had every injury under the sun. But apart from that, like, when was the last time a Magic player had a groin issue? And now all of a sudden we have back-to-back for 2 of our top 4 guys.
Yeah. Classic. It's the way of Orlando Magic basketball, 2 years in a row. But hopefully both of these are much less significant than the oblique stuff from last year.
Yes, that would be much appreciated. Right now, I am once again refreshing this, of course, NBA.com as of 10:58 p.m. when the Magic's game ended over an hour ago. Have still not updated these advanced numbers, but as soon as we get those, we will bring those to you and update. Because I also want to take a look at hey, the Magic are 6-3 in their last 9 games, and they've been playing for the most part Magic basketball. So I want to see what those numbers look like as well. Okay, going back to Friday night, the Magic's second game of the NBA Cup, hosting the Brooklyn Nets, who at the time were 1-10. And I think the Magic were, was it 14.5 or 13.5 favorites
14.5,
going into this game? And not that you go into any game taking your opponent lightly, especially in these NBA Cup games, because as we have come to learn, point differential is very important in these group stages here. But expected the Magic to just come out and handle the Brooklyn Nets, and give the Brooklyn Nets a ton of credit. They played really well in this game, made a ton of difficult shots, and just mucked up the game and made things difficult for the Magic. The Nets were up as much as 16 in the first half. The Magic go on a 13-0 run in the second quarter. They're able to close the gap. They were down 4 going into the half. And then the second half is really just kind of back and forth. But then the Magic find themselves down. I think it was 98-94 on a Nick Claxton layup with 2:37 to go and down 4 with 2.5 minutes to go. Jeff Turner literally called his shot in the beginning of this game. He said, if you don't put this team away early, they're going to have confidence that they'll be able to beat you and win this game. Just like we saw in the Atlanta game on NBC without Trae Young, where, hey, if the Magic get up early in that game, maybe you just kind of close that one out, but they let the Hawks hang around in that game, eventually getting their doors blown off in that one. But yeah, the Nets just hung around, made tough shots. And then the Magic do something that was honestly pretty crazy to witness in the game. Tristan da Silva hits a 3 to make it a 1-point game with 1:49 to go. The next possession, Franz comes down. He hits a 3 off the glass to give the Magic a 2-point lead with 1:25 to go, and then hits a step back jumper, almost identical, not in the same spot, but the exact same kind of dribble move as the Lakers game winner last year. He hits the step back to give the Magic a 5-point lead with 45 seconds to go. So within the span of 2 minutes, the Magic go from down 4 to up 5 thanks to back-to-back threes. And then the rest of the way, basically, they have to play the foul game. Magic get a few stops. Desmond Bane hits a couple of free throws, and you win this game 105-98, closing the game out the last really the last 2 minutes. Yeah, the last 149 of this game. You go on an 11-0 run to win this game. And I, unfortunately, was in the same kind of seat that I was when we beat the Blazers on Monday. Of I'm not even super thrilled that we won this game. I was frustrated that it basically came down to an 11-0 run over the span of 1 minute and 49 seconds, which the Magic almost never do, to be able to beat a 1-10 Brooklyn Nets team. This game just never should have been that close. You do have to give Brooklyn a ton of credit, but the Magic just they played with their food early in this game, didn't really seem super locked in on defense, let this game get away from them a little bit, found themselves in a big hole, but credit to them for the way that they fought back. And again, go on and win this game by 7. So you're able to get another win in NBA Group Cup play or NBA Cup group play, add to the point differential. And I think they are right now second in their group behind Detroit just because of the point differential. Yep. This should have been a game where you added 15 to 20 points to that point differential. So a win is a win is a win. But I did come away from this game just still slightly disappointed that this team wasn't playing to the standard.
Yeah, the most disappointing thing for me was the first quarter turnovers. We saw some, even in the first 3-4 minutes, I want to say, we saw some horrendous decisions with the basketball. But the other thing I want to point out with this game, you mentioned we closed on an 11-0 run. And you also mentioned in this, I believe it was the second quarter, the 13-0 run. Those two combined, they sound great. That's 24-0. But that means you needed 2 different runs combining for 24-0 to beat the Brooklyn Nets, which
by 7.
By 7, right? Which you can say that's part of basketball. Runs are part of basketball. That's great, but it shouldn't come down to that. You shouldn't be trailing by so much that you need a 13-0 run to get back in the game, and then you shouldn't be trailing at the end of the game that you need an 11-0 run to win the game and combine 24. On and on and on it goes. It was a disappointing performance, and at the same time, while I'm with you that I wasn't like obviously thrilled, like ecstatic, I was pretty impressed with how they finished the game. And it shouldn't have come to it. I understand that. And I agree with that. But how they closed the game down on Friday, I thought was quite impressive. I know it's not a good opponent, but they knocked down some big shots. They got some big stops. They made some big plays, enough to win the game. Now, you got to address the first 46 minutes. That's a problem. But the last 2 were really special, really fun. And at least it left a good taste in my mouth as we walked away winners.
I would feel closer to that emotion had one of those threes not just been pure dumb luck bouncing off the backboard and going in. Well, that shot had, it's better to be lucky than good, 100%. But that shot had next to zero business going in.
Well, to quote the great David Steele, German engineering.
German engineering.
What a bar. He had the schematic all drawn up in his mind, and he knew what he was doing. Just banked it off glass. It was perfect.
He said he called it. I don't know that I believe him. But, in basketball and in this league, in the regular season of 82 games, like sometimes you just need good breaks, which the Magic had a good break at the end of regulation against the Rockets on Sunday night, which we'll talk about that for sure. But sometimes, like, hey, you know what? It's better to be lucky than good. And the second step back was awesome, but I was just like mad that like why did you have to do this to be able to beat this team? That's kind of what I felt. Yep. And then, I do understand like people, they want to be happy and they want to celebrate wins. And I want people to be happy and I want people to be able to celebrate wins, but there's a bigger picture when it comes to this season. And if this is like 4 or 5 years ago after everything that we've been through, like, yeah, we would just be elated. Like, thankfully we just got a win or whatever. But this team has bigger goals, bigger aspirations. And Tristan da Silva even said it after this game. We did not play to our standard. Win, lose, or draw, which we don't do draws in the NBA, but like win or lose, if the Magic don't play to the standard, it should feel like a loss. If the Magic play to their standard and they lose, like they did on Sunday night against the Rockets, even though there are things in the flow of the game that you can point to of this is why we lost, and it can be really frustrating because we just don't like to lose, but you're able to sleep at night when the team plays to the standard.
Yeah.
When you don't play to the standard and you end up winning the game, like you have, 2 out of the last 4 games against the Blazers and now against the Nets, I am just like that crotchety old man that it's like, you didn't deserve to win these games. You just didn't. Will we take the wins? Absolutely. But I hope that as a fan base, yes, I want people to enjoy the good moments, but we also have to be able to say like, hey, this is great, but you still kind of missed the mark. And this team has come out and said the word championship like half a dozen times. And if that's what we're shooting for, we need to hold them to that standard. The standard that they have come out and said themselves over and over again, and the standard that Tristan da Silva said, hey, we won the game, but we didn't play to our standard. So you guys totally in the right for like being happy. And I'm not just talking about Kevin. I'm talking about, Magic fans everywhere, but also those of us that are like, you won the game, but it didn't feel great and you didn't really play the way that you need to play. Kind of have to let people live in that as well, because the team has told us that's what they want to do. So I don't know. Maybe that didn't make sense.
No,
but that's
it made
just kind of
sense.
how I felt.
I agree. I definitely still agree with that. I think there is a standard, and the Magic have been inconsistent with that at best through whatever the 14 games or whatever it is. But I was at least able to enjoy, especially the step back 3 at the end. That was a great moment, and really happy.
And
for
the
Franz.
Sam Cassell
celebration, and Mo Wagner on Instagram cracking me up. You saw that? That was really funny.
Like somebody help tell me what this means, as if he doesn't know what it means.
Right. He's just trying to get his brother fined by the NBA, pretty sure, but whatever.
We interrupt this episode to bring you one of everybody's favorite segments each week, the Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. You probably know what this one is going to be. We're going to go back to Sunday night, Magic at Houston. 5.3 seconds left, Rockets ball. They're trying to inbound it to Kevin Durant. He slips. Anthony Black picks it up, goes the length of the floor, gets the two-handed dunk and the and one on Alperen Şengün. Unfortunately, he missed a free throw. We're not going to talk about that. But that is this week's Jam Hot Chicken Jam of the Week. Jam Hot Chicken is bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park and now Winter Garden at the Plant Street Market. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack, locally owned and operated in Central Florida. They're over at Winter Park at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square. And then again in the Plant Street Market at Winter Garden. Follow at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media and check out jamhotchickenfl.com. You can find their menu, order online, and find all things Jam Hot. Whether you are at the Winter Park or the Winter Garden location, when you get to the checkout, let the cashier know that you have a code 6MAN, and that will get you 10% off every order at Jam Hot Chicken. So whether you're headed there before a Magic game or you're going there on your lunch break, or maybe you're at home, you don't want to leave, you can also order Jam Hot Chicken on Uber Eats and get it delivered straight to your door. So when you're at Jam Hot Chicken, let them know that the guys over at the 6MAN Show sent you.
Also want to shout out Ken Posick and Posick Group, who is your home team on and off the court. They're not just the real estate partners of us here at the 6MAN Show. They're also the real estate partners of the Orlando Magic this season. So big shout out to them for not just sponsoring us, but sponsoring Orlando Magic basketball. They have over 1,700 five-star reviews. It's no secret why. If you go talk to Ken and his amazing team to help buy or sell your home, you're going to see why so many people love being with the Posick Group. They're in the top 1% of sales in the United States. And again, they know the Central Florida market as well as anybody. So reach out to them at Pozick.com. That's Pozek.com. Again, whether you're going to buy or sell your house in Central Florida, I promise you Ken and his team are the way to go. Big shout out to Posick Group for sponsoring the show. And now let's get back to the episode.
Okay, quick timeout here. I'm going to jump in. We have the numbers, Kevin. The Magic are now 20th in offensive rating, so they've dropped just a little bit, 114.1. And in terms of defensive rating, the Magic are 11th, 112.9, with a positive rating of 1.2, which puts them at 17th in the league. I do want to take a look at the last 9 games, especially here, because I don't want it to count that last Detroit game. Last 9 games where the Magic are 6-3, they are 10th in offensive rating at 117.8, and they are 10th in defensive rating at 112.5, and they are 11th in net rating, 5.4. So this is still no Mo Wagner. You're not getting Jalen Suggs full minutes. You're not getting Jalen Suggs on back-to-backs. Sometimes you're not even getting Jalen Suggs when you have a couple of days rest, as we did on Sunday. And you still don't have Mo Wagner. So Magic are a top 11 team, and if I count Eastern Conference teams ahead of them, Detroit, Atlanta, well, that's in that stretch, yeah. Detroit, Atlanta, Toronto. So the Magic have been like the 5th best team in the East during that stretch.
Do you have in your stats right there, do you have pace? Like what the Magic's pace has been?
Magic's pace in those games has been 26 in the league, 98.94 possessions per 48 minutes.
Yeah, we see Magic basketball is back.
Yeah,
absolutely
truly
back.
Honestly.
Yep.
I mean, we look at these last 9 games now. If I go back to our schedule, so we're going back basically starting with the Charlotte game, 123-107. The Washington game, 125-94. Then you have the blowout loss to the Hawks, 127-112. You have the win over Boston, 123-110. The loss to Boston, 111-107. The win over Portland, 115-112. The win over New York, 124-107. The win over Brooklyn, 105-97. And then tonight's loss, 117-113 in overtime. It does still feel like the defense has another level to get to. And they were mostly good tonight, which we'll, I guess, really talk about that now. But yeah, the Magic, they're playing better basketball, but the defense just still, to me, feels like they have another level to get to. And I think a lot of that will be just Jalen Suggs being fully healthy. But like we just like overall as a team have to defend better in certain situations. But there's promising signs. Like that's the last 9 games. If we go to like, I'll go a step further and go to like the last 6 games. Let's see where the Magic are at now. So in the last 6 games, the Magic are 4-2. They are 15th in offensive rating. They are 13th in like there are signs, but like this team has to be a top 10 defensive team or they're gonna go nowhere. They're just not gonna, the offense is not gonna be consistent enough for this team to not be like a top level defense in the league. And we've seen it in stretches, and it's definitely a lot better now than it was the first couple weeks, but it can still be so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like, I mean, look at the 2 biggest games of the week. The Knicks, you play outstanding defense. The Rockets, you play outstanding defense. To me, like you said, those are signs. Those are great. The problem is the 2 teams that maybe weren't as good, Portland and Brooklyn, were probably of the 4 from this week, your 2 weaker defensive performances, at least by and large in stretches. And so that's the part that's concerning. But I mean, I can't sit here and complain about the defense against New York and Houston this week. Like, I mean, even tonight, you look at the score, they go 117. Yeah, they scored 15 in overtime. So you held them to 102 points through 4 quarters, the Houston Rockets. Like, that's so impressive. Yeah. And then obviously we talked already about Wednesday's New York game, but against the best teams in the league, the Magic right now are defending at a high level, which is very impressive. But you're right. They need to sustain it every night, night in, night out, and being healthy will obviously help with that.
And the Rockets so far this year have been the best offensive team in terms of offensive efficiency. So the fact that, you held an NBA team to those numbers in the, in regulation, but the fact that it's been the best offense in the league, and like they really struggled tonight outside of Kevin Durant and Şengün, that like stretch that Reed Shepherd had. But outside of that, like the Magic gave them a ton of issues
without Jalen Suggs. Right. That's just, it was, I was just super impressed with that performance tonight. But without Jalen Suggs is amazing.
And again, really good signs, but like, what good is it if you're playing up and down to your competition still? Like we have to get over that as a team. That's been something that the Magic have struggled with for what seems like forever. And like the good teams, like you'll have a stinker, like the Thunder lost to the Pacers earlier this year, but the Magic are just still doing it like too often. So that's a little bit of a problem. But again, we have a lot of promising signs that the Magic are turning things around.
Thunder lost to somebody else, not the Pacers, but I don't remember who. They took him to overtime, though. The Pacers took him to overtime.
Oh, they did? Okay. Yeah. They lost to a not great team.
Correct. I don't remember which one, but somebody we played recently. I don't remember either, but it doesn't matter. Yes, every team can have a stinker. There's 82 games in a season. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's going to bother me now. But anyways, I'll look up that in a little bit. Okay, let's go to Sunday night. Again, we get the news earlier in the day that you're not going to have Jalen Suggs. And
Portland. Portland. That's what they lost to. There you go.
Oh, they lost to Portland. Okay. Yeah, that's what we were talking. We talked about that on the last episode.
Did.
But no, I knew the Pacers played them pretty tight earlier in the year, at least. So Sunday night, no Jalen Suggs, and it felt like you would be fortunate for this game to not be like a 15 to 20 point blowout, just given all the circumstances, given how good Houston has been this year, especially the offense. And the Magic like come out like gangbusters, just all over the Rockets, knocking down shots, locking them down, getting blocks. Magic had a 14-point lead early on in this game. And then Durant gets going a little bit. Şengün gets going. Reed Shepherd has a really good stretch. I believe that came in the first half that kind of like closed the gap in this one. Magic, every time in the first half when the Rockets would kind of go on one of those runs, the Magic had an answer to the point that they were still up 9 at halftime. And the Magic were up 9 with like 7.5 minutes to go in this game. And the Magic, like the defense looked great. The offense was just consistent enough for most of this game where they were able to keep the Rockets at arm's length. But that stretch to start the fourth, Just really, really slow. Like especially like I want to say like around like the 11-minute mark to about like the 6-minute mark in this game, the Magic just really couldn't get anything going. And the Rockets just continue to cut into that lead, and they cut it to 3 points with 5.5 minutes to go. And then at that point, it really, the rest of the way just became like the Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün show. It's a 3-point game. Wendell has a dunk with 33 seconds to go to give the Magic a 100-97 lead. And then Kevin Durant just has a pull-up jumper right in Wendell's face from 26 feet that he hits to tie the game at 100 with 22 seconds to go. Bane drives. The Magic have the ball with 21 seconds left. You really just need to get that clock all the way to 0 before you go. Bane goes just a little bit early. Şengün makes a really good play on the ball, blocks it, and then it goes out of bounds off of Desmond Bane after the review. Initially, they gave the ball to the Magic. I think that the Rockets did challenge it. The refs didn't just go to a review. The Rockets challenge it. It's the Rockets' ball. They have the ball. It looked like Kevin Durant got fouled by Anthony Black. Little tug of the jersey. He falls down. Hey, when people say, "Oh, this is what happened," I always go to the Michael Jordan quote, like with the Byron Russell, like the Utah shot. Like, what did the refs call? Well, then I guess that's what happened, right? They didn't call a foul, so I didn't foul him. But Anthony Black scoops up the ball, dunks it with 2 seconds to go, and then, Jamal Mosley did the right thing, subbed J.I. into the game for that final possession. But unfortunately, they let Şengün get the ball 2 feet from the rim, both feet in the paint, and he just rises up, throws it over J.I., and it goes in. 0.2 seconds left. Magic didn't even get a shot off in regulation, if I remember correctly. What?
You skipped a very important step.
Oh, Anthony Black missed the free throw on and one. Yeah. Trauma was already trying to block that out.
Yeah.
AB is fouled by Alperen Şengün on that dunk. He scoops up the ball after looked like he kind of fouled KD, but it is what it is.
No.
Misses the free throw. And then, Şengün hits the hook shot. You go into OT. And then, Magic have good looks at it in the overtime period. But again, it was basically all Şengün and Kevin Durant. Amen Thompson had a couple of nice plays, but were basically completely created by the gravity of Şengün and Kevin Durant. Tristan da Silva makes 2 free throws to cut the lead to 1 with 52 seconds to go. Or no, to give the Magic a 1-point lead. Thompson has the dunk to take the lead back. And then Mo Wagner misses a layup with 31 seconds to go. Durant hits a really tough shot over Tristan da Silva with 9 seconds to go to give him a 3-point lead. And then it just becomes the foul game. Rockets up 3, foul. Franz Wagner makes both free throws. They're up 1. Then we have to foul Reed Shepherd. He makes both free throws. And then they fouled again. Foul Wendell Carter Jr., who makes the first free throw, tries to miss the second free throw, makes it, but enters the lane too early, and they wave the shot off anyway. And then it's their ball. They get fouled. Amen Thompson makes both free throws, and they win 117-113.
There's two, sorry, I was gonna say there's 2 things when you're at the line and you have to intentionally miss. There's 2 things you have to do. You have to hit the rim. And 3 things. You have to hit the rim.
You have to miss.
You have to miss it. Yeah, exactly. And you have to not enter the lane until you're free to do so. Remember, free throw takers can't enter the lane at the same time as rebounders, right?
Yeah.
And Wendell managed to somehow go 0 for 3 of those. Didn't hit the rim, made the free throw, entered the lane too early. It's just a comedy of, I don't want to call it errors because, Wendell played his tail off tonight. This is a game for me, Jonathan. Like, I know this is only game 14, and this is going to sound really stupid, and I understand that. I don't know that I'm going to have a loss that I enjoyed as much as this. And that sounds bad. Not that I enjoy the loss, but this is going to be my favorite loss of the year. Like, odds are completely against you. You don't have Jalen. You don't have Paolo. You're playing on the road against Houston, who's been very good. Won 3 in a row. One of the best teams in the league. most impressive for me, like it'd be one thing if you get out to that lead and then you just blow them out. Like, oh, Houston is terrible all night. You blow them out. But Houston just kept coming at you. I mean, every quarter there was a run, and the Magic, like you said, they just kept him at arm's length all night long, and I was so impressed. And I just kept waiting for essentially like, the dam to break, run, if you will. Yeah, because but it just never really happened. I mean, there were a couple times, I think the Rockets took their first lead of the second half, really since 2-0 with like 2, 3, 4 minutes left in the game, whatever it was. And when that happened, I was like, all right, this was fun while it lasted. But the Magic somehow kept finding a way to get back in the game and retook the lead. And obviously, you hate how the game ended. Like that's a crushing way to lose this game. You've been fighting the whole night, and then you just. On the one hand, I'm disappointed because quote unquote things just didn't fall your way. But on the other hand, the Magic did have chances. Obviously, you mentioned the Anthony Black free throw, but don't forget the Anthony Black free throw would not have won the game. It just would have put you up 3.
Yeah.
So the Rockets still could have tied it with a Kevin Durant 3 or whatever, right? But more like for me in overtime, I was pretty disappointed with how things turned there. Desmond Bane starts the first 2 possessions, gets for him easy floaters, looking great. He's driving, he's getting into the paint, trying to get to the rim. The next 2 possessions, Desmond Bane with tries to do like a step back 3, and then Franz the next possession, 2 possessions total. Desmond Bane first tries a step back 3, then Franz tries a step back 3, and we just completely went away from what was working in the first 2 overtime possessions. And then after that, you're playing from behind the whole rest of the way, and then the rest was history. So
Tristan, he gets fouled with less than a minute to go in overtime. Has a chance to give the Magic a 2-point lead, misses the first free throw. It was his first free throw of the night. He doesn't see the free throw line a ton as it is. And free throws were 100% a problem in this game, as they've been a problem all year. I want to say we were 24 of 32 at the free throw line tonight. It ended up, 25 of 34 at the free throw line. And I counted, I guess, early before the overtime period ended. But 73.5%, you miss 9 free throws, you make a few more of those. This game doesn't even go into overtime.
Yep.
And the Magic started this game 9 of 17 from deep. They end up 12 of 37. So they went 3 for their last 20 from behind the arc.
Yep.
Horrible shooting, from the free throw line, from behind the arc. Guys just have to be better. I know it's an easy thing to say, but it is a lot of times a make or miss league, and guys have to knock down shots. And I know this is the point that you and I differ on. I thought the rebounding and the double big lineup of Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün, the fact that we didn't try really to deploy a lineup to combat that, in the overtime period, you're out rebounded 11-1. 11-1. They had 7 offensive rebounds in that overtime period. And in the overtime period, that was the difference. The fact that you were playing good enough defense to get stops, you just couldn't finish the possession by getting the rebound. So that I felt like was an issue. And then Anthony Black, who had even the really good Anthony Black games, he has 2 or 3 possessions where you're those are the things that we've got to cut out of your game, and then we're really, really cooking. But he was playing well in this game. Tyus Jones, and I know it's tough because you don't have Jalen Suggs, but Tyus Jones gets subbed in with 3 minutes to go in the third period where the Magic still had a good lead. And then slowly but surely to start that fourth, Houston starts to chip away at that lead and end up taking it and, winning the game. In 15 minutes, 20 seconds tonight, 0 of 4 from the floor, 0 of 2 from behind the arc, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He's a -8 plus minus, which again, plus minus isn't the end all be all, but when it's every single freaking game, you're a negative.
Yep.
It's a problem. And the fact that he played 11 straight minutes over the span of the third and fourth quarters, AB sits on the bench for 11 straight minutes. And I thought, okay, maybe at the 7-minute mark, AB will come back. Maybe at the 6-minute mark. Maybe at the 5-minute mark. He comes back in. I think it was 4:34 to go in this game. And Anthony Black, 18 points, 7 of 14 from the floor, 1 of 5 from behind the arc, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. Out of all the starters, he plays the fewest minutes, even behind Wendell. And Wendell didn't see his full allotment of minutes only because of the foul trouble. Played like a lot of the end of this game with 5 fouls, eventually like fouls at the very, very end when it didn't really matter. But there's just no way that Tristan plays 40 minutes, Franz plays 42, Desmond plays 44, and Anthony Black plays 35 minutes in this game. At one point, I'm like looking at the bench. AB is not like, he must have been like behind the backboard where you can't really see that end of the bench. And I'm thinking like Anthony Black must be hurt. Like that, there's no reason that he shouldn't have come back in this game. And then I see him at the scorer's table with less than 5 minutes to go. And I'm like, so Anthony Black was just like sitting over there, healthy, playable, and you just decided to stick with Tyus Jones while we just saw the lead get whittled down and get whittled down and get whittled down. I hate that we do this every single episode, but I genuinely don't understand how bad Tyus Jones has to be and for how long before we realize that you can't play him. Because he loses every single minute that he's on the floor.
Yeah. I just pulled up Tyus Jones NBA.com stats, which, of course, it does not include tonight. So this is through 13 games, not 14, which tonight's numbers will make this worse. Through 13 games, he's averaging 12 and a half minutes. Plus minus is minus 4.6, which minus 4.6 in 12 minutes, not ideal. But the big one for me is
people
the
might
ratings.
not pick up on the joke there, but that might be the most kind thing you've ever said on this show.
Thank you. The ratings are what make it really, really interesting. Offensive rating of 97.7 when he's on the floor. Defensive rating of 116.5. So that's a minus 18.8 net rating in 12 and a half minutes per game. That's not very good. For me, it's less about, on a night like tonight, it's less about Anthony Black finding more minutes. Like you said, he played 36. I know some guys played 40 plus. For me, it's more so, if there was a night to try Jace Richardson, tonight was the night. No Jalen Suggs. You have to start Anthony Black. Anthony Black's going to have to play a ton of minutes. Tonight's the night to bring out Jace Richardson. That's what I think. Especially like against some of the guards that he would have seen, from Houston. I'm thinking about like a Reed Shepherd. Like, not that Reed Shepherd is bad. He's obviously not. He played well tonight. Torched you for 16 points. But what can Tyus do defensively on Reed Shepherd that Jace Richardson cannot do? Right? That's how I look at it. It's like, I can't find anything. And then offensively, what can Tyus do that Jace Richardson can't do? Because Tyus has quite literally done nothing. Literally nothing offensively. Yeah, he got you, 2 assists? Yep, 2 assists tonight. I think Jace Richardson could find it in his bag to get 2 assists. And then scoring the basketball, I mean, how many games this season has he been 0 for? I don't have his game log in front of me, but it's a lot. He's played 13, Oh, wait, maybe this is up to date. Because maybe, was there a game that he didn't play out of the 14? I don't know.
I'm looking at cleaning the glass right now, Kevin.
Yeah.
His point differential, he's in the 1 percentile in the league.
Nice.
His points per possession, offensively, like points added, 0 percentile in the league. Effective field goal percentage, 0 percentile in the league. Turnover percentage, 50 percentile in the league. So like the thing that this dude is, people are making the case for why Tyus is playing. Oh, he doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah. His turnover percentage is 50 percentile in the league. Or lineups that he's a part of. Yeah. The turnover percentile is 50% in the league. Like,
wild.
It's less than doing nothing. He's actively killing every lineup that he's a part of.
Yeah.
And he's the common denominator in all the lineups. He's terrible defensively. He gives you nothing offensively. As long as Jace doesn't come in and average 5 turnovers per game, there's not a world that he is not a net positive compared to Tyus Jones. And it makes 0 sense because Tyus is gone this year. Even if he plays really good, you don't have the cap space to sign him. And the way that he's playing, it would be general manager malpractice to pay this guy another dime to play basketball for your team.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, he plays really well and is gone this year. And then you have a year of Jace just like wasted. where like you have like nothing but incentive to play Jace Richardson right now over Tyus Jones. And it was it after the Brooklyn game that I think Jamal Mosey was talking about like Tyus's veteran presence and the way that he like calmed the offense down? Like the bar for this guy is set so low that when he doesn't have like an absolute dog crap game, people want him to be complimented.
Yeah.
Like it is coaching malpractice at this point to continue to play Tyus Jones.
Unless it's not coaching. You can always chew on
whatever it is.
Yeah.
How could it like it's like is it maybe it is possible, but is it possible that the front office is like, no, we have to play Tyus Jones?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Where is the rationale there?
I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of something with the agent. I mean, who knows? There's stuff that happens behind the scenes. I'm open to hear
every possibility at this point. I'm just like, none of it makes any sense.
None of it makes sense. And here's why it's a problem tonight, right? The starters did enough tonight to win this game, which doesn't matter what starters the Magic have thrown out there. Most nights they are doing enough to win games. It's that second unit that's been really problematic. And tonight you get 12 bench points tonight, 12. And there's only one guy on this whole team that didn't score tonight, and that was Tyus Jones. And so I'm thinking if you just swap a Tyus out with a Jace, and Jace goes out there and gets 6 points instead of going over, I think the Magic win this game.
You might win this game.
Yeah, 3 points, 1 point. One technical free throw, even. I don't know what, but no, just kidding.
This is not. Please go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, I genuinely hate that this is becoming like a recurring segment on this show. I really do. But I feel like it has to be until it changes, because it's there's no way to justify it anymore. There's no way. Early in the season, I mean, we're still early, but like game 1, game 3, game 5, game 7, I'm like, okay. He just needs to get acclimated. He needs to blah, blah. We're at game 14 now. We're 14 games into the season. I don't know what the math on that is, but we're pretty far into the season enough to know that this is not working, and it's time to change it up.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. Yeah. Just all the numbers, they speak for themselves. And, let's see. The lineup tonight that played 3 minutes: Tyus Jones, Goga Bitadze, Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Jett Howard. In 3 minutes, a 120 offensive rating, a 200 defensive rating. It was a negative 80. I mean, that's just 3 minutes. That's really neither here nor there. Let's pull up all of his lineups from. I think this is from tonight's game. Oh no, this is not from tonight's game, because this is pulling Jalen Suggs' data. NBA.com, like, get this stuff figured out. I want to pull up the lineups from tonight to get us good numbers, but I can't do that because NBA.com doesn't have that available, I guess, just yet. If we take a look at his game log, game log's not up yet on Cleaning the Glass either. So I have a feeling we're going to be able to look up those lineups from tonight's game and find that they were just completely awful. And I do think that, and this is not meant to be like a shot at Jett Howard at all, but we came into this season like, hey, is Jett Howard even going to be able to see the floor? And like, Jett Howard has been far and away better than Tyus Jones in every like imaginable way, offensively, defensively, and that's not good.
Yeah, not great. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about the Tyus Jones segment every show, and I think there's probably a mixture of you listening that are tired of it as well, but some of you are like, no, keep it up, because it's the way it is right now. It's just hard to ignore it. I'll put it that way. It's hard to ignore it. The only other thing from this game I wanted to say, as proud as I am of how this team fought, and like we talked about, they kept battling and all that kind of stuff. Without Paolo, without Jalen, I just need Desmond to be just a little bit better. That's what I think. Like, he made some great plays, got to the rim a few times, but he also had some really not great plays. Obviously not knocking down the three. He is letting it fly. He took 7 tonight. A couple of them were step step backs that did not go in. It's not my favorite shot in basketball. If you're on fire and you're feeling it, maybe, but I just wasn't super happy with everything I saw from him. And on a night without Paolo, without Jalen, I just wanted him to step up a little bit more. But yeah, outside of that, I really, really can't be mad with the team tonight, other than Tyus.
Yeah, it's tough because like the team, like the game plan was great and the game plan was working. Like if Kevin Durant and Şengün are going to beat us, they're going to beat us, and those guys combined for 65 points tonight, and let's see, 24 of 55. So like Şengün, 11 of 31. It was working.
100%.
I don't know why, like late in the fourth quarter and in the overtime, all of a sudden we're like throwing 2 and 3 guys at him, because then he just started to pick us apart, whether it's finding Amen Thompson for like a backdoor. I think of the play where he got the offensive rebound. And in that instance, it's tough because guys are just like fighting over the ball, but then he just bounces it behind his back to Steven Adams for a wide open dunk. I'm thinking of, I think the lead was 6 when Franz and like they were like the Franz Wendell switches all night, like especially late. Şengün getting on Franz started to be a real problem as the game went on. But all of a sudden, after not doubling and over helping the entire night, Wendell decides to help off of Kevin MFing Durant, of all people, late in that game to give Kevin Durant a wide open 3. And it was like, no, like what you've been doing the entire night has been working. Like, just let it ride. And he wasn't shooting the ball that well. So like in a game like this, like when we're complaining about certain things and it feels like nitpicking, it's because like with the circumstances, you basically have to play perfect. You don't really have margin for error.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And Kevin and I had the conversation before we started to record, like of like the double big lineup. And Kevin, you're of the opinion of like, that's not what the Magic do. Like if we're going to run and kind of like counter that with another double big lineup. But my thing is like, you got out rebounded 60 to 30 freaking 8. Like you just got completely dominated. I know the Rockets are the best rebounding team in the league, but 22 rebounds is a lot, and that it hurts.
And the flip side of that is you held Şengün to 11 of 31 from the field, and Kevin Durant 13 of 24 from the field. That's not great, but 2 of 8 from 3. Like
the defense on Durant was amazing.
No, I get my chance to explain about the double. My opinion of the double big.
I was just
if you roll out
validating what you're saying.
If you roll out Wendell and Goga, these numbers blow up. You cannot defend these guys the way they were defended tonight. And then offensively, forget it. What are you going to do offensively if you roll out Wendell and Goga? I was very happy with the game plan. It worked. It kept you in the game. And then, yes, in overtime, they got a couple of offensive rebounds on one possession. Like they got 4 or whatever on that one possession. That was really annoying. That was a backbreaker. They had several of those situations, but all in all, it kept you in the game. And I have zero complaints about that at all.
Yeah, I just disagree. But again, you played well enough to win this game. You make your free throws. You knock down a couple of shots. You win the game. I think by far, I think we would both agree the more egregious thing was Tyus Jones again over Jace Richardson, not playing him at all. And like that 11-minute stretch had to be the longest stretch that Tyus Jones has played this season. Going to the second half, it says it was at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That just doesn't feel right. If I go back to the play-by-play, he checks in the third quarter with like 3 and some change. I guess that was Bane for Black. Jones comes in. Okay, he came in the 104 mark. Again, you had a 7-point lead, and then he comes out around the... Okay, so yeah, I guess that is 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Still, most games we see Tyus for a total of 8 minutes. Not for an 8-minute stretch. So he played 7 minutes roughly in the first half and 8 in the second because he was right around 15 minutes. Just, I don't know. To your point, I hate that we keep talking about it, but to me, in terms of like the rotations and things that the Magic can control, it's by far and away like the most obvious. And is it going to be a perfect fix? I don't think it will be. Like, will Jace come in and be awesome? Maybe not. But even if he's just as bad as Tyus, I really don't think he can be worse. You're investing in his development for the future, which you just took him with a first round pick. So you kind of need to do that. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. But
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole philosophy of like, if you help us win, you're going to play. And Tyus Jones is not helping us win. So why is he playing? And the way that Jamal Mosley talked about him, I believe it was after the Brooklyn game, it just seems like they still believe in Tyus Jones when he has like the last season and now this year of showing you that this guy just might not be the same guy anymore. But
yep.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the week ahead, Kevin, before we go ahead and wrap this one up. The Magic do not play Monday, but they play Tuesday. They've got 3 home games this week, and then they head to Boston on Sunday. But Golden State on Tuesday, again, 6 fan show outside of Kia Center after the game. Be sure to join that. 7 o'clock tip-off. Then they play the Clippers on Thursday, 7 o'clock tip-off. And then they have the Knicks, a weird 5 o'clock Saturday tip-off.
Yeah.
That game will be on NBA TV in Orlando and then at Boston, 6 o'clock tip-off. So like early back-to-back Saturday, Sunday tip-offs. I don't really love that. But
yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Last week we said...
Anything special? Like the NBA Cup games are like exclusively on Fridays now?
Except for the last week, but yes.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So it's just a weird Saturday NBA TV game.
Very weird. Last week we said we'd be happy with 2-2, and we went 3-1. So very happy about that. This is a tough week. Now the Clippers aren't the Clippers that we thought we'd see, and Bradley Beal's obviously out for the season. Not that I don't think he really was going to help them too much this season anyway. But regardless, Golden State on paper, good, has been pretty up and down so far, though. And then obviously we just beat the Knicks, and we've already, we just beat the Knicks. So, what do you think?
Well, I think hopefully we'll have Paolo back at some point this week, which don't have anything to like go off of when it comes to that. But the quote from Shams was really interesting because it was basically like, he'll miss Friday's game and then he'll be evaluated daily. So we don't usually hear that type of language. Like evaluated daily to me is like a day-to-day kind of status. Like if you need to evaluate a guy every single day to see where he's at, you're thinking he's going to be back pretty soon. Correct me if I'm wrong, but some people objected that I quote tweeted the Shams tweet and I said Paolo's day-to-day. They're like, he didn't say that. It's like, well, he said he's evaluated daily. Like what the heck is that supposed to mean? You know?
Yeah.
So hopefully he's back. Hopefully Jalen is back. It seems like the groin is sore, but he wasn't on the injury report until today. Like before this game, he was just ruled out. So that makes me think that it must not be really hampering him all that much. Maybe just need a little bit of rest. At best, I'm still hoping for 2-2. I don't really know exactly in the way that those come, but trying to think here. Maybe you beat Golden State, you beat the Clippers, and then the Knicks get one back, and then you're headed to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
If you guarantee that those guys are back, I feel better about like 3-1 maybe. But it's a tough week.
Yeah, the back-to-back home to Boston is very weird. And it's the third game in 4 nights. I'm going to go 2-2 as well. I'm going to. Are we going to beat the Knicks twice in a row? I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm going to say you alternate games. I'm going to say you beat Golden State. Or no, backwards. You lose to Golden State. You beat the Clippers. You lose to the Knicks, and you beat the Celtics. That's the route I'm going to go. That's
probably the
unorthodox.
Best. Like you come away from the week feeling the best. In like if you're going to go 2-2, you probably feel the best. Unless like you beat Golden State and then you beat Boston. Like if you beat Golden State, you beat Boston. If you lose to the Clippers, you really don't feel good.
Yeah, it's tough. The Clippers still have some guys, but I can't remember. No, that's not this week. I was going to say one of the games coming up is the second night of a back-to-back, the Miami-Orlando back-to-back, but it's not this week, I don't think. So, I mean, if you ask me, I'd rather beat the Warriors than the Knicks. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd love to beat both those teams, but yeah, I think Clippers-Celtics is a little more likely. And hey, so far the Magic are 2-1 on the second night of a back-to-back this year. So
the Clippers are going to be sitting in Orlando for 2 days waiting for that game as well.
Great. Yeah. Love that.
They play in Philadelphia on Monday, and then they play the Magic on Thursday, obviously.
Course.
Golden State, we're the first of their Orlando-Miami back-to-back.
Yep. Classic.
But, who knows? Maybe if like the Magic are up, late in that game, maybe, they sit guys because, they got a back-to-back coming up, or maybe some of their guys will sit against Orlando because, second night of a back-to-back, they've got a lot of guys that are old. Right. The Knicks.
I was about to say
at Miami, at Dallas, then at Orlando on Saturday.
Oh, never mind. Nope, there's nothing good to report. We're doomed. It just is what it is, but oh well.
Yeah. And then the Celtics, they've got Brooklyn, and then us.
Great.
So,
but shout out Brooklyn. They won a game tonight on Sunday. So did you see who they beat? The Washington Wizards.
Nice. Good for them.
Yeah.
All right.
Unreal.
Yeah, 2-2. I don't really feel great about predicting how it's going to come. It's just like looking at that week, looking at that stretch. You can't afford to go 1-3. You got to find a way to be able to tread water. How awesome would it be to go 4-0? That's like we need that week like that. If the Magic are going to do the things that we think they can do, that week has to come
we're a free throw away from it this past week,
Yeah.
Or whatever possession you want to pick from Sunday's game. We were that close to a 4-0 week this week.
So we are whatever free throws you want to count tonight away from winning that game. And then if Jordan Walsh doesn't hit that 3 for the Celtics, we might be winners of 6 in a row right now.
Yeah. And if we didn't play bad in Atlanta, and if we didn't play bad against Chicago and against Atlanta the first time, and we could be sitting at 14-0. Like you just, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I agree.
It's just such a fickle game.
But how about this? We can end on a positive note. I think we can all agree we feel much better today than we did, say, 2 weeks ago at this exact same time.
Yes.
When the sky was falling, we did know what was going to happen. The season felt over in some ways. And here we are. We had a 3-1 week, very close to 4-0. The brand of basketball is back. And we're alive. We're alive. And I feel good about that.
I tweeted this out a few days ago, but I think it's probably helpful to bring it up here now. And, will make me feel better and make me sleep a little bit better. 2 seasons ago, when the Magic won 47 games, if you go back to January 13th, where you lose at Oklahoma City, the Magic were 21-18. So 3 games over 500 by January 13th, and they still ended up winning 47 games. So the fact that we're 500 sitting here on November 17th, there's just still so much time left and so much basketball to be played. But I think, me personally, I don't know about you, Kevin, I don't know about other listeners, I am going to feel uneasy about this team. We can't just continue to hang around 500. We have, I, for my own personal mental health and belief in this team, I need to see them have that 5-game stretch where they just look dominant and look like the team that we envisioned. Because even if we only get a small, a 5-game sample size is this team is taking their opponents seriously. They're locking in. They found a style that works and they're able to execute. Where if you just see that for 1 game at a time and then all of a sudden you're barely beating Portland or you're barely beating Brooklyn, it just doesn't feel real. But if they can go on a 5-6 game stretch of just whooping up on teams, having real signature wins, then we can go, okay, even if this team has another rough stretch, we've seen the version of this team that we thought was possible. And we have seen it in little flashes, but nothing in a way that has felt sustainable yet. And for me, I need that. I need this team to go on a 2-week stretch of looking like the team that we thought they could be. Not a 20-minute stretch. I need to see it for like, give me 11 days of looking like the team that we thought you could be. And then regardless of what happens, like the rest of the way, you make it in the playoffs and I'll at least have like, okay, we've seen them do it. We've seen them do it for a sustained stretch. Right. And I'll be able to breathe a little bit easier the rest of the way. Because right now it's like, even when we win games, part of it is because we were not winning games super convincingly. But even when we win games, I'm like, we got to keep doing this before I can like breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see it.
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay. Again, Sixth Fan Show Tuesday outside of Kia after Magic Warriors. Our guy Christian will be there. And then Sunday down at Boxy Park in Lake Nona. Magic versus Celtics. Tip-offs at 6 o'clock for that game. So be there early around 5:30. Let's get some wins. Kevin, anything that we missed before we wrap it up? That is going to do it for this one. Yes? No?
No,
okay.
Nothing.
For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to the Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!